Everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a lovely day. Thanks so much for joining me. Well, today we're going to make a card in 5 easy steps. It's going to be a pretty floral card. It's going to be a friendship card. And all of the items that I'm using are part of the Simon Says Stamp brand new In My Heart release. My project today is for a blog hop. So if you want to join in the fun, there's a giveaway and tons of inspiration with this brand new amazing release. So let's jump in and get started with our 5-step process. First off, we're going to create step number 1, which is our focal point. And that will be using the Fresh Crocus Duo. Create some beautiful flowers. And I thought we would just do some ink blending. So I'm going to bring in some white cardstock. And we're going to do a little die cutting here. I'm just going to trim this down and we're going to die cut out some white flowers. And then I'm going to bring in some Simon Says Stamp green apple cardstock, and we're going to die cut out some leaves. I want some blue flowers today, so I'm bringing in some Simon ink. I'm going to use Dusk. It's a nice smoky blue, and we're just going to add a little bit of color. Now at the very bottom, I want to add a little bit of green so they will blend in with the bottom of my leaves. Just add a little color. And I like, when I do this on my flowers, I do like the light and dark areas. So some areas I go heavy, and then some areas I just keep light. Okay, now these are layers. Okay, so these are the bottom layers, and then these two are the top. I'm just going to use my field ink and a detail brush and just add a little bit of green at the very bottom. While I'm at it, I'm also going to add some color to my stems. I'm going to keep these out because we're going to be using these for step number 4. Now to put together our crocus, we're just going to add a dot of glue at the very bottom, and this is the back layer. And then I'm going to flip these over, and I'm going to add a small foam square towards the top of the flower. And then I will layer this right over the bottom. Give it a press. This will give me dimension at the top, but it tapers down to where I can add the stem. You see that? I'll do the same thing here. Now we're going to create our leaves. There's 2 stems, and then there's 2 leaves. So I'm just going to layer them. I think that's going to look good. And then we're going to layer our flowers right over the top. Those will be my focal point. Now we're going to move on to step number 2, which is creating my home panel. What I mean by home panel is just something to set my focal image on. This is what I like to do. Simon has some new scalloped arches that layer together beautifully, and they're so dainty and pretty. I just love them. So we have the scalloped arches, and I'm going to die cut out the second from the smallest with some of my Simon Says Stamp fog cardstock, okay? And then we have the scalloped arch frames that are the same exact size as these dies. Let me show you. And these are just frames. So they're both great on their own, but they're great together too. We're going to put ours together. I'm going to take the same size and die cut out. I'm going to do several frames because I want to stack them to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'll run this through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. I'm just going to finish up adding the layers to my frame. It is a dainty frame and it's so pretty. Okay. I stacked 3 of them together. So it gives it a real nice stability too. So we have a little bit of a chipboard look. Nice and sturdy, and they layer beautifully together. Okay, I am going to doctor up this background. I wanted a little bit of something extra in it. So I'm bringing in a clear stamp. This is the Simon Says Stamp Nature in Bloom background stamp, and it has beautiful verbiage on here in a typewritten print. And I'm going to bring in some gray ink. I'm going to use my Positively Saturated flannel ink here. Lovely. And then I'll take the background and we're just going to press it in there and add a little print. If I hit and miss the print, that's okay because We're just wanting a little bit of something in the background, and if it looks a little distressed, that's okay. That's all there is to that. Okay, let's go ahead and layer the frame to the background. To do that, we just add a little dots of glue. It lines up beautifully, and then that will be my home panel. Okay, let's move along to step number 3 and create our greeting. Simon has some new Friendship Extra Large Easy Strips. These are really fun, and Simon has a whole bunch of different dies that you can use to cut these out. Today I'm using the Extra Large Easy Strip banners, and we're going to have to flip it around, make sure it's at the right orientation. But I'm going to die cut out one of these sheets. In the pack here, you get 4 sheets. Okay, so you get lots of greetings. We're going to use True Friends Are Never Apart. I think that's really pretty. We're going to go ahead and add our florals to the home panel. I do like dimension, so I'm going to put an extra foam square behind here. And I know I want my greeting here. I want a little more green on my home panel, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take our crocus die, and I'm going to cut out some more of these leaves. So now we have a stem and a leaf. What I'm going to do is just extend the leaf on the bottom here. Now the tops of those stems are going to be covered with the greeting, so we're just going to add this right in the middle. Lovely. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add some foam squares here. So this will be ready to add to our next step, which is step number 4, and we'll create our background next. For my background, we're going to bring in an embossing folder. This one is called Everlasting Flowers. So pretty. It has all these little tulips in here. At least they look like tulips to me. And I'm just going to emboss an A2 panel of white cardstock. And we're going to do some ink blending on here. This is what it looks like. So pretty. We're going to put this on my grit mat, and then we're going to ink blend, starting off with my field ink. I'm going to add a little color, and we're going to fade up. Well, that looks really pretty. And then I'm going to switch out the ink, and then I'm going to add blue at the very bottom, about this far up. Lovely. Okay, and then this will be my background. I'm going to go ahead and take this and adhere this to the front of an A2 size card base. And that's all we're doing to the background. Now I'm going to go ahead and take our home panel. We're going to put some adhesive behind here. I'm just going to use my glue. And then I'll remove the release paper off the sides where our sentiment strip is. We'll tack this right down in the middle. Now we're moving on to step number 5, which means it's time to embellish. Today we're going to embellish with some Blue Skies embellishment mix from Simon. This is part of the release too. They're pretty amazing. I think the blue is going to go perfect here. Lastly, I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of splatter. I'm going to be using my Simon Says Stamp Perfect Black Splatter Medium. What I'm going to do, I want controlled splatter, so I'm just going to use what's in the lid. And using the other end of my embellishment wand, I'm going to add some controlled splatter. This way I don't get it in the background, but I have the same effects. Okay, we'll just wipe that off. So now we have controlled splatter in our background. Okay, I didn't have to bring out the splatter box, which is really nice. I just went big and little with the little dots. Okay, I think that looks wonderful, especially when you have a dark sentiment and nowhere else on the card's black. At least in my opinion, I like to add a little black splatter when I can. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing as part of our step number 5, embellishing. I'm going to bring in some twine. The one I'm using is from Lawn Fawn, and it is white. It's white hemp twine. I'm going to tie a bow with it. I put a glue dot behind it, and then I'm going to add a bow. I always like to add bows. And if you guys are not good at making bows in this release, let me show you. Simon has some little bows. Let me show you the size of these. That would go perfect. I know a lot of people aren't good at tying bows or don't like to mess with twine, but the little bows die set would work perfect for this. It's like the size, it's just perfect. Then you have this one too that you can customize. But you see how perfect that would be? So, have trouble with bows? I'll link this down below if you guys want to check this bow set out too. But that's my card today for the Simon Says Stamp Day 1 in my Heart blog hop. I hope you can join us. There's again loads of inspiration. And today's day 1. Tomorrow's day 2. If you want to mark your calendars for tomorrow too. There's loads of inspiration. Have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.